What if a single object, just one stone, could tell a story that spans 4 entire millennia? We're talking about a story of empires rising and falling, of justice and, well, inequality, and an absolutely incredible journey across continents. So today, we're going to trace the epic life of one of the most important artifacts in all of human history.
So here's the big question, right? How on earth did a legal document carved into a massive stone pillar in ancient Mesopotamia wind up under the bright lights of the Louvre Museum in Paris? Believe me, this is not just a story about a museum getting a new piece. It's a story of conquest, of rediscovery, and really, the enduring power of an idea.
To get to the bottom of this mystery, we have to go back in time. And I mean way, way back. Our story kicks off nearly 4,000 years ago, at the very moment this incredible object was first created.
This is it, the Code of Hammurabi, and it's not just old, it is one of the most complete and best preserved legal texts we have ever found from the ancient world. You have to understand, this was a foundational document, a serious attempt to bring order and justice to a huge, sprawling, and really complex society.
And the man behind the code? Hammurabi. This guy wasn't just a lawgiver, he was a master empire builder. He's the one who unified Mesopotamia, launched massive public works projects, and turned Babylon into the dominant power in the region. And this code, this was his crowning achievement.
Now get this, this wasn't just written down on a scroll or a clay tablet. No, the laws were etched into a monumental pillar, a stele, carved from one single piece of dark, imposing basalt. It was designed to be permanent, to be seen, and to really impress upon everyone the seriousness of the law.
The laws themselves were written in Akkadian, which was kind of the international language of its day, using this beautiful, complex, wedge-shaped script called cuneiform. And choosing that language was so important. It meant the laws could be read and understood all across Hammurabi's huge, multicultural empire.
Where they put it was also key. The stele was set up in a public place, most likely a temple, for absolutely everyone to see. And right at the very top, there's a carving of Hammurabi himself getting the laws directly from Shamash, the Babylonian god of justice. The message there was unmistakable. These aren't just the king's rules. They are divinely ordained.
So for centuries, the stele stood there as this powerful symbol of Babylonian might. But, empires fall, and this stone's story was really just getting started. Its next chapter would be one of conquest, and then a very, very long silence.
Just look at this timeline. The stone's journey it's just staggering. So after it's created in Babylon, it gets stolen as war booty around the 12th century BCE and dragged all the way to the city of Susa in modern-day Iran. And there it just lay, buried and totally forgotten for over 3,000 years. It wasn't until 1901 that a team of French archaeologists dug it up, and it began its final journey to Paris.
Okay, so we've traced the stone's physical journey, but what about the story that's carved into it? What do these ancient laws actually tell us about life and justice back in Babylon?
The code has 282 specific laws. And these weren't just some vague principles. Oh no, they were super specific rules that covered everything from trade and family issues to crime and property disputes. It was basically a comprehensive blueprint for an entire civilization. And of course, it contains probably one of the most famous legal phrases in all of human history, an eye for an eye. That single line has pretty much come to define the code for most people. But the reality? It's a little more complicated than that. So this concept is known as lex talionis, or the law of retaliation. The whole idea was to make the punishment fit the crime, to create a sense of proportional justice. If you cause someone to lose an eye, well, you are going to lose an eye. It sounds incredibly harsh, I know, but it was also an attempt to limit endless blood feuds and unchecked revenge.
But, and this is a huge but, there was a crucial catch. Justice was absolutely not blind. The punishment you got depended entirely on your social status. Babylonian society was rigidly divided into 3 classes. You had the Amalu, who were the elite, the Mushkanu, or the commoners, and the Ardu, the slaves. Hurting an elite citizen carried a way heavier penalty than hurting a slave. So that whole eye for an eye thing, it really only applied if both people were from the same social class. And yet, for all its harshness and all its inequality, the code was also remarkably advanced in other ways. It actually introduced concepts that we now think of as cornerstones of modern law. Things like the presumption of innocence, the idea that you're innocent until proven guilty. and forcing accusers to present actual evidence. I mean, these were radical ideas for their time, the very early seeds of legal principles that would take millennia to fully grow. So this brings us to the final chapter of our story. The stele has completed its journey, transforming from a living, legal document into a priceless historical artifact. What does it really mean to us today?
And you can really see that massive shift right here. Back then, this thing was an active tool of government, a public declaration shaping daily life under the authority of both king and God. Today, it's a silent object that we study. It's a window into the long, winding history of human justice.
When you boil it all down, the Code of Hammurabi, this incredible traveler through time, represents a fundamental human idea. It's a bold declaration, literally etched in stone, that for any civilization to truly thrive, it needs a system of justice built on fairness and accountability.
Its journey from a temple in ancient Babylon to a museum in Paris is just this powerful reminder of how ideas can last long after the empires that created them have turned to dust. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What will future civilizations think when they look back at our laws? What story will they tell?